This is RJAC with One Castle Productions, and I'm sitting here with CJ Arnell. How's it going, CJ?
What's going on, G? It's
Not
good to
too
see
much.
you, brother.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah,
How you
man.
been?
You know what? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day to add another neighbor like yourself, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we're sitting here at Lake House Studios. This is kind of like your Zen area,
So this
right?
is it, man. This is
where it's
this
at.
is the space, you know.
Okay.
Lake House Studios. This particular space is not my actual space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in my office back there, I got a little box that's, you know, probably a fourth of this room in here.
Okay.
That's my zen in there because I'm really an introvert, man. So, you know,
Okay.
getting out is really not.
No, I feel that.
Wears me out sometimes, but people don't realize that. People don't know that, you know, about me. But yeah, man.
Okay.
That's what we get. That's how we get down.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the main reason why I wanted to sit down with you is because anyone who knows you, aside from the fact that they know your network, I mean, everyone knows CJ Arnell is the guy who brought Kanye to the gateway.
Sure.
You know, and that's great and all, but for everyone who follows you on Instagram, you're providing a lot of value. You provided value to me, even that last IGTV that we were just talking about, the one where like you weren't just singing or saying good morning, but you were just giving people something to help start their day. And I think that that's very powerful. And I want to talk about just how being an authentic person like that and providing value in that way has helped you in branding and helped you in networking. But before we get there, let's start off with how CJ got started. Where are you from? Why don't you tell the people like how CJ Arnell in Utah came to be?
Oh man. So I mean, I started at a very young age, you know, just doing music, you know, just my mom started us off, me and all my brothers. You guys might know Tim. He played for the University of Utah basketball for Rick Majerus. And my brother Chris owns a business here with my father, and he also plays guitar and sings like amazing. And then our youngest brother, Ernie Terrence Drisden. And started us all off in the crib, man, just playing music, you know, to wake us up. And that's kind of how the Drisden legacy started, you know, with the music. We end up, you know, me and my brother Tim played drums in church, you know, stuff like that. And then we kind of, he started playing the organ, you know, at 13, and that's when he started being my boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my brother Tim started being my boss when he was 11. I was 13, and he was playing keys at 11 for the church.
Okay.
And in LA, and it was amazing, man. We had a good time, and he's still my boss at the Point Church. And so, but you know, moving here at 23, came here, and. Let me cut that out. I would hate to have to take a call in this interview right now. But yeah, so at 23, I moved to Utah after studying vocal performance at Cal State Long Beach. And that was my major. They paid me to go to college. It was freaking amazing. A family called the Jenkins family would give us, it was 3 black students that got the scholarship. And I was one of the 3 who were blessed to get that.
Oh, wow.
But we got $5,000 every semester on top of our full ride scholarship, you know. And I got to study with a lady named Marvalee Caryaga, who is a world famous opera coach and singer, and she is off the chains. So even still in her old age, she's really, really, really solid. But anyways, so we moved here, 23 years old. I got here, it was just my brother. And so, you know, when you move to a place and everything is already kind of set up, you know, you feel like you're alone, you know? And so I tried to figure my way, and wasn't doing any music. I was working a bunch of jobs, got fired 14 times here in Utah.
Okay.
And I celebrate that now. It wasn't so much fun back then when I was getting fired, but I celebrate that now because it was like God showing me, you know, through all these jobs. And I encourage anybody who's watching, you know, that, you know, if you're the entrepreneur type, right, and you're not getting along in the work world, and they look and they see you as, people have been calling me a boss for years and years and years while I was working at these places, right? They were like, are you my boss or am I your boss, and stuff like that. And so because I had a boss-like mentality, people felt semi-threatened for their jobs or for their, things like that. And so they would cause all kinds of disturbances and things to make that hard for me. Nonetheless, it was a blessing in disguise because I got to learn about so many different businesses and so many different models of how to do business, right? And it's made me the person that I am today. About 8 years ago, I came home and I told my wife that I wasn't going to accept any more shows unless it was music or more work.
Okay.
Period. Like no more working for people unless it was music. And that's been the case for the last 8 years, and I'm grateful.
What was the trajectory to get you into that mind state where you were just like, I've had it, I need to work on what I want to work on?
What happened was, and it wasn't that.
Okay.
A lot of people have those kind of testimonies, where it's like, you know what, that's it.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case for me. I was forced out of a job. I won't say the place, but I was forced out of a job, and that person who fired me told me that I need to be doing music full time. And I was just like, if that's not the voice of God, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? If that's not, the universe saying to me, like, now is the time. Even though, and that's why I say I even have it written on my board for the 56 people that work in my organization. I have it written on my board, and there it says, you got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it, And so even though I didn't see it in that moment,
Yeah.
I could see how it could happen, and that was enough for me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because now it's manifesting itself in today, and so that's kind of how I started my career. It wasn't, I'm done, with the man, or whatever. No, I honestly was forced out, and I tell that story. It's a vulnerable kind of story for me because nobody loves getting fired. Who loves that,
Yeah.
And all that. And I'm not the kind of guy that's like, as soon as I get fired, I'm going to run to unemployment. I'm not that guy. I'm a real man.
Yeah.
I go get the next job, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and no shade to the people who go and do that, but I've only just recently found out about unemployment, what I'm saying, because of all this COVID stuff and like what you can do with unemployment and all that kind of stuff, whatever, because I never looked that direction, I've always been a hard worker. My dad, even putting up this TV, I was thinking to myself like, work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Because my dad would like say that stuff to me when I was younger, like, work smart, not hard, son.
Yeah.
And so figuring out the smart way to do the music business and do it clever enough to be successful here in Utah. I believe that I've given my best efforts, and I still will continue to give my best efforts in showing people how to do the music game at a high level. And strengthen not only their musical talents, because I develop people and stuff like that, but not only strengthening the technical talent that they have, the gift, right? Because I believe your gift will make room for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're here today because of your gift.
True. True. To a certain extent, though.
Because RJ is the bomb.
Well, thank you.
Y'all heard it today.
Endorsed by Late Studios.
No, you are, man, and truly,
that.
truly a gift, bro. And but that's not the part that matters. It's the personality. It's the loyalty. It's the stick to itness. It's the the drive when nobody's looking.
Behind closed doors.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Not what you say when you see. I spent even the last 9 months building a venue over here called the New War. And while people were sleeping and, collecting their checks from unemployment and all that, I hadn't received a check in 9 months, still.
Yeah.
For my work, but spending money, right? Because you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna consult with y'all on here because that's gonna cost you. Amen.
Talking about it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, you gotta spend money to make money. You know, and that's pretty common knowledge. You know, a lot of people are beating the bricks. You know, and how do I do this? How do I do this? And they're holding on to their money, their resources.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta let that shit go. You know, so that you can buy a camera. So that you can buy another camera.
How do people understand the value or non-value of money? Say from, you know, for your standpoint, you have put on so many different hats. And like you've said, you've been in so many different businesses. For a lot of us who are a little bit younger, you know, coughing out that type of money, it hurts because that's all that we have. How do you get yourself into the type of discipline that it's okay to spend money, and like if you don't have the community yet, if you don't have the following yet, and still know it's just like, I'm spending this money now because it's going to go somewhere. How do you convince yourself of that every single time?
You got to write it down. You got to write the vision, right? You got to write the plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Yeah. So with a little bit of money, bro, let me tell you, I'm going to be a little bit more vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
I got fired 8 years ago. I had saved up maybe 10 grand or something like that. But money coming in, that 10 grand was gone, you know? At the time, my bills were, and because I wrote them down, all my bills were $4,004 a month, okay, to the penny. That's what I was paying. And no matter what, because I kept it on auto pay. I don't like people calling my house. Once I, you know, have business with you, it's auto pay.
Yeah,
period.
Smart.
There's no, Mr. Drisdom, you, no,
set it and forget it.
Yeah, set it and forget. I love that. And so I set it and forgot it.
Yeah.
Right. And still, while you know, life was happening, right, I went into $30,000 of debt. Okay. Now, and that's like after, you know, doing the gigs. I hurried up and put a band together because I had one more band that I was playing with, and that provided me enough money a month in order to, you know, at least knock out some of my bills or whatever. But I had $4,004 a month that was going out no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. So
you knew that was cash money that was going somewhere.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, what ended up happening is that maybe 2 or 3 months later, I lost that music job. I was playing for a band that I've been with for 6 years.
Okay.
And he fired me. Okay. And
who fired you? The manager?
Just the guy who's in charge of the band.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Fired me. And that meant that I had no more money coming in. Right. With a family of, you know, four kids and a wife, a family of 6. My parents were living. They just moved here because they were like, you know what, we're gonna move to Utah and kind of help out or whatever. They ended up giving me a car because I didn't have a car for like 8 months. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, repo after repo after repo after repo.
Man.
I lost 4 cars that I, you know, acquired, you know, and stuff like that. And because I lived in West Jordan at the time, off of like Bacchus Highway, there was no buses to come through. I'm not ashamed to take a bus or nothing. There was no buses.
Yeah.
So I had to call my friends and say, hey man, can you know, he drive me over here, and, you know, stuff like that. And I got a whole family, you know, waiting to see what daddy's gonna do.
Yeah.
You know?
Did they know? Did everyone in the family know, or did you kind of keep it close to your chest? Okay.
Absolutely,
So the whole family knew you're an open person when it comes to that.
I'm pretty open to most people.
Okay.
Maybe to a fault, even. And I'm learning how to not let my right hand know what my left hand is doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's called wisdom. And so that's what I'm working on. But anyway, so I was, you know, in this position where money wasn't coming as fast as it was going.
Yeah.
Right. And so I hurried up and put this band together called Changing Lanes. Okay. And thus it was born. And I was charging something like $1,000 or something like that for, you know, this band.
Yeah.
Called Changing Lanes. Changing Lanes band on Instagram. Amen. Go
Look
follow
for
that.
it. Yeah. Go follow them.
And you know, it started off pretty small, maybe 10 people. Right? It's pretty small. That's not small at all. We were playing for about $30 to $100 every gig. And I mean, playing big parties and stuff like that. People, I'm sure, were like, we get all of this for this little bit of money.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about is like, how do I pay my bills? Right. And so we were playing like 20 gigs a month. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not playing. You ask anybody that's been a part of my organization that long, 20 gigs a month, bro. Like I would count them like, we have 18 gigs a month this month, guys. Oh, we got 23 gigs this month, guys. You know what I mean? And we were rolling them out, bro. That's how we kind of like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? We just got it, right? Playing everywhere, all over the state of Utah. So after a year of doing that, everybody knew who you were. You know what I mean? Because we were just everywhere. And so the money, you know, started getting a little bit better. You know, obviously I started charging a little bit more because I was making bands who were the same size, who were charging $5,000 or whatever, 10 grand or 15 or 30. You know what I mean? I was pissing them off, you know?
Yeah.
And my mom told me, she said, son, can you afford to charge people $1,000, $2,000? I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can pay all my bills. She said, well, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. If you can be a blessing to people and charge this little bit of money, then do that, right? And so I just took that mindset. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just keep doing this for the next, you know, year or whatever. And eventually people start getting tired of that, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta pay them a little bit more, right? And pay them a little bit more. So I start asking guys, hey, what's your bills? What are your bills? Because I'm paying mine now.
Yeah.
What are your bills? You know? And that's kind of how things started growing and started expanding and stuff. And as our bills get bigger, because we start buying stuff and, you know, get a car. Oh, you know what? CJ made it to where I can get a car. You know, because I've been playing with this band for 2 years and now I'm able to afford a car.
Yeah.
You know, people buying cars, people buying houses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, putting down deposits on houses because of the extra money that they're making with my bands, you know, and stuff like that. And so money, man, you know, if you take it like this lady, Francine Flores, I was 18 working at Norm's restaurant. And she told me, she said, Kerry Jr., if you, that's where CJ comes from.
Oh,
Kerry Jr., if you line up all these dollars in the cash register, you know, I was working at a restaurant as a cashier, as a host at 18, you know, after my singing tour. She said, line up all the dollars facing the same way. Put see, some of these people, they come in here and they throw the pennies in the dimes and they throw the dimes in the quarters and the whatever. No, take all of the stuff out and make sure that the pennies are where the pennies go, the dimes where the dimes go, the nickels where the nickels go, you know, and so on and so on, right? And so I did that. And she said, if you respect, and this is the lesson that I want to say, if you respect money, you'll always have it.
Okay. How fine of a line is it to respect money and disrespect money?
The young ladies, you know, you're carrying a purse, right? You don't put your purse on the ground.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like just stuff like that.
That's
like,
a great analogy too.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
And even if I'm in a restaurant and I see a lady's purse on the ground, I say, ma'am, would you mind if I pick that up and put it on your chair? You know, because that's your wealth on the ground.
Yeah.
And I physically and figuratively see that in the spiritual and in the natural. I see people's finances and stuff being laid out on the ground and not being able to have access to it because of how they treat the idea of money.
So you see the value regardless.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Okay, well, we're gonna take a short break, and then I do want to get back into this because this is really, really good talk, especially for everyone who's listening, who is trying to make this work, and understanding the value of money, I think, is one thing that I've never touched on before, and I think, bro, it's money. Hey.
Literally. Yeah.
For sure. All right, we'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's actually jump into that officially now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've come back from the break. In that break time, CJ Arnell is still spitting fire. Sorry that you guys missed it. But we're actually going to get back into this because this is valuable, I think, to a lot of us in Utah. Well, regardless what tier you're at. Talk about what you were just saying. Introduce it and talk about it just right now, because I think the one thing I want to pinpoint on is the fact that there is conviction in being an entrepreneur or in just being a creative trying to make a lifestyle out of that.
Right.
So what do you have to say about that?
Bro, it's like, you work these jobs. I'm sure, everybody's got a job or whatever they got to commit to or whatever for the moment. And one thing I like to say too, and I learned this actually under my brother's leadership at the church. And he was like, you got to change your got tos to get tos.
Explain.
Okay. So many people are like, I got to go to work. I got to go do this music. I got to go, make this video. Changing your got tos to I get to go to this job. I get to. Many people don't have the opportunity. So I get to go and record this record with whomever or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Changing your got tos to get tos and taking your craft more seriously than other people take your craft. Like we were talking about work ethic, right? So you get, I told you I had a point. I'll get back to it.
Yeah.
But you get to go to this job, whatever it is, even if it's whatever, Jimmy John's or whatever, and those things. If it works for you, it works for you, and so you go to this job at Jimmy John's and you spend, let's say 30 hours a week at Jimmy John's. You're giving Jimmy John's your life for 30 hours a week. That's 120 hours a month, right?
Yeah.
And so, but then you come home and you're like tired of riding your bike for Jimmy John's, and you're, tired of, making sandwiches so you don't eat,
Yeah.
you're not taking care of your health, because you're just like, I did all this stuff all day. So now, music, I have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Filming, I'm not editing anything after this day. I had to work a double today. I'm not, no. See, the difference between those people and a person like myself is that I would come home from a job that I had to be at 6 o'clock matter of fact, I'll tell you a story, and I'm gonna get back to the point, but I'll tell you a story. I was working at this place. They started me at 6 o'clock in the morning and they wanted me to be done by 2 o'clock. Well, I was killing it on the floor. Everything I ever put my hands on turns to gold. And I mean that for the rest of my life. And so I get there to the job. I realize that I'm selling way more than anybody else on the floor, right? And I'm doing this before 2 o'clock. Okay? So.
Sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
Is this how you met Tanya?
This is how I met
Okay, so Tanya from from Utah Canvas Group. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't catch that reference, definitely check out Tanya as well. But keep going. I had to ask.
Dude, that was a plug right there. All right, yeah. So I'm doing this at a very high level, and the people are like, well, why are you slowing down? I said, because I want to be off at 12. That's what I want to do. I realized that by 10 o'clock, I am already past everybody on the floor what they're gonna do for the entire day. Okay, so I figured out how to. This is one of those things that you figure out by working at these different jobs, how to invest your time, right?
Which is yet again of value.
Come on, bro.
There's a value. Yeah.
Like you're either spending your time or you're investing it.
Do you lean more towards time is money or money is time, or is it the whole idea that in the Orthodox there is value in both and you have to kind of treat both in a similar way?
I lean more towards, and that's a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
I lean more towards rich people have money, wealthy people have time.
Okay.
That's what I lean towards. You can bust your ass all day and like be on the grind and all this whatever and make millions of dollars or whatever. You know what I mean? But you still don't have time because you have to like watch your money and like do all this stuff, whatever. But like wealthy people, come on, bruh. I don't have a clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
And there's value in that too.
There's value in that. I'm working right now to get my time back. You know?
Yeah.
All the time that I spent, you know, spent, bro.
Yeah.
There's time that I spent, you know. Now, flip side of that, you know, I'm working with Alonzo from Young OG and JD from Inglewood Films, and all these guys, whatever, are working in our organization to create an opportunity so that we all can just hang out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hang out, bro. That whole situation, you know, and take our families out to these elaborate places or whatever together, because we build an empire together, you know, because you can't do it solo. So for all those people out there who's like, oh yeah, I'm doing my own. Well, that's cool, baby. I did that too. I did my own thing until I couldn't no more.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's like, how do you do, you know, this thing the right way and influence the most amount of people with the least amount of time, with the least amount of energy. You know what I mean? And that's how you you know, get to the success or whatever that you're, you know, because success is relative, right?
Yeah.
You know, you were just saying it just a few minutes ago, you know, about what you would consider being a successful entrepreneur, you know?
Yeah.
And I admire that, because a lot of people are comparing themselves to the Joneses.
Yeah. Come on now.
I admire you for that, because a lot of people are comparing themselves to the person across the street and what they doing. Oh, CJ, oh yeah, I could do that. I could do but that's not what God has gifted you to do. But so you just, you know, running around in circles, you know, trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? And you were supposed to add to an organization. Now you're taking away from the situation because you feel like you can do, you know.
Yeah, I get
or whatever, you know? Blessings only.
Okay. So with that, damn, power. No, for real. That's amazing. I did not expect it to go that way, but I'm so happy it did. But it helps me allude to one thing that I know a lot of our listeners are waiting for, which is, can you have all of these different brands? You have 4 Black, you have Lake House Studios, you have all these things engaging in different parts of the community. So you're plugged in more than one way. For artists in Utah, since you get to meet a lot of them, what is either Utah as a community of creatives missing, or what is it that, you gotta take that one? Okay, cool.
I needed to take the other one. But
my bad.
No, you good.
No. But we've seen you do it. All of us love to see you do it. How do we get to attain the same type of, let's call it, wealth in our drives and our passions here in Utah? What are the things that maybe we have to work harder on as creatives because of the way that Utah's maybe artistic economy is? And what is it that has been the biggest downfall for a lot of the artists that you've seen who had the potential, had the talent, like we said before the break, but then they missed the meat and the potatoes, which is their personality? What are people missing right now in Utah? Because you haven't done this just in Utah. You started in Compton. You started where things were very different.
Facts, man. You know, oftentimes I don't really even, you know, talk about my resume, you know, at all, because, you know, I don't know. I'm an out the way guy, you know. I'm introvert. I told you that. You know, it's just like.
Can we get into it? A little bit, a smidgen. If not, that's cool.
You know, played for Snoop Dogg, played for Omarion, you know, done shows for Michael Jordan, opened up for the Blues Brothers, you know, just, I mean, brought out Sci-Hi to Prince, you know what I mean? Like, just so many, and that's like Oscar de la Hoya, like all kind of stuff, man. Just people, Darren Williams, I mean, like the list goes on. And it really does go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so, but that's not the point. The point is that, you know, don't live by what you see. Speaking to your question about how people can do better, right? Don't live by what you see, but rather live by what you say. Because what you say is what you will see. So speak life to yourself.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like whatever it is that you're like going through, whatever it is that you're like dealing with, the good and the bad, you know? Because sometimes when things are good, you know, there's a guy, he died just recently. He told me, he said, CJ, you're on top of the world, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, but, you know, and you're not supposed to say yeah, but really, you know? But this is the reality, you know? I was like, but there's so many people trying to drag me down, you know? He was like, you don't, because he's an old egg farmer, you know?
Okay.
And his name is Dick. And
Dick the egg farmer.
Dick the egg farmer.
Okay,
you know?
cool.
And he's gone now, but he told me before he passed away, he said, you know, he said, in my life, and he was 69 at the time, and he told me, he said, in my life, CJ, what I've learned is that it's better to be at a good 75% instead of being at an 85 or a 90. He was like, because you're still doing great. You know, you're not in the newspaper. You're not in the TV. You know, you're not. You know, it's all these things that draw attention to you, but you're still doing your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the 75, 80%. You know, and not cause any ruckus, but you're still killing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, I noticed when I was in the newspaper and people were flying over my home and stuff in Park City in Georgia and these different places or whatever, and how much attention it was drawn to me was not good, because now you got people who are trying to figure out, how can I tear that man down?
The haters.
Oh yeah, and trust me, if you ain't got them, you ain't doing it right. You know.
I wanna. It was said also by Tinker, the guy who made all the Jordans.
Yes.
I was watching Abstract on Netflix, and he said, if people either don't love your work or hate your work, you just aren't doing that much.
Literally. Yeah.
So you stand by that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And we have to have integrity. I think getting back to what we were talking about before is like, we have to have integrity about the work that we do. Like we can't have, you know, we can't start something and not finish it. You know, we can't say with our mouth that we're going to do something and then we don't do that thing. You know, many people know that my son got killed 4 years ago, and November 1st, 2016. So we just, you know, went through that whole anniversary deal. November 1st, 2016 was was when he was killed. November 4th, I was standing on the stage performing in front of 300 people because I said that I would, you know. And people were asking, they gave me a room and all this kind of stuff to like, kind of chill out with my family and stuff, because everybody followed me. I had cousins drive down the night that he got here, you know what I mean, to Utah to be with me, you know, because, you know, they're family, they're not relatives.
Yeah.
You got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
There's
I
a difference between family and relatives.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean? And sometimes family's not blood, you know, and stuff like that. And so, nonetheless, this organization hired me. I said I would, and I did. And so, you know, in my organization, if you say that you're gonna do something, then you do it.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You know, there's no like, because that kind of set the tone, you know what I'm saying, for what I expect from people, you know?
Because you ran through it too.
Yeah,
in a
man.
very difficult way.
Yeah. And so I was like, if I'm able to press through and do because I said I would, then you can do the same.
Yeah.
You know, and figure it out. And if you can't, then at least have the conversation. Don't just not show up.
Yeah.
There's levels to this thing, right?
Oh man, I could talk
Come
talk
on.
about that. Yeah.
Don't just not show up.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be present. And if you're not present, you still got to be present with your voice, with your mouth, you know, open up your mouth and say something, you know, don't just be like, I'm at home or whatever. Like, no, say the reason why you're at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Talk about it. You know what I mean? Get it out, because communication is everything. It really is. And people are forgiving. I'm forgiving. I forgave the man who killed my son.
That's tough.
You think I'm not going to forgive you for not showing up to a show? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I'm saying. So I have like these different measurements of things of how, and people, you know, be like, oh yeah, CJ's this, he's just angry or whatever. No, I'm passionate. You know?
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that, like black people in general, we're just passionate people. We're not yelling. We're just passionate.
Yeah.
You know? And when I get excited about something, or when I get, you know, the joy or whatever, or even the you know, even when I'm being critical, you know, of a person or of myself even, I get passionate about it, you know? And I have a sign on my wall, bro, right? You can walk in my office and see it right now. It says, do it with passion or not at all.
That's heavy.
Do it with passion or not at all. Like, if you're not in this, and everybody's passion looks different, you know, and mine is just this way, you know. I'm a coach. Think of it that way. Have you ever had a basketball coach who was quiet? Or a football coach who was like, pass the ball.
Something's wrong with that.
Come on.
Something's wrong with that team.
You know, I'm a coach, bro. And so I tell people, don't listen to how I'm telling to you. Listen to what I'm telling to you.
Yeah.
You know, don't listen to the how. Like, don't be ye. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Listen to what's happening instead of your feelings. Get out of your feelings. And you can, and I'm gonna say this for the last time. Hopefully, I'm gonna say it on record, so that way, if you're looking at RJ's show, which you should be, that you can hear for the last time. If you cannot take me, you can't take nobody. If you can't take me in this industry, because I'm a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Really nice. Give you another little bit of insight, and you can study this. I'm a Cancer man, right? In the zodiac signs, whatever.
You're a Cancer.
Yes, sir. So I'm a very, very nice, loyal, extremely loyal to a fault, man. And so if you can't take me and my personality and what I present and give to you as a gift for free, ain't never charged nobody for studio time. Me, never. Over $80,000 spent in this studio space given to people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you can't take me, you can't take nobody or nothing out there. Because we cross over and people are like, oh, I'm going to go to LA. Shit. I grew up there 23 years.
Yeah.
You're not going there and going, no. Get your life together.
Yeah.
Figure it out here first. Let this be your playground, and let this be your work out all the kinks and stuff, and let this be the place that you figure out how to get an extra 2 layers of skin first.
Yeah. There you go.
Because you're going to need that shit when you go out there.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're already calling Utah the little LA. So that's the reason why I'm building up this organization like the way I am.
Yeah.
Because I already know what that, I already know what that is.
Yeah.
And so now we just creating it here and allowing people to, experience that.
So where can people find you? Because we have hardly scratched the surface, unfortunately, just due to the Lotus archive.
Yeah.
This is all the time that we've got, but
Right.
I want people to know where to find you, because after they watch this, they're going to want to know more. Where can people find you? Where can they find your projects? And how can they know more about CJ Arnell?
Sure. So CJ Arnell on Instagram. So CJ_Arnell. That's ARNELL. Okay. You can also find me at Changing Lanes Band. So Changing Lanes Band. We also have several other bands, right? The Lane Changers Band, the Headliners Music, at Retro Lanes, okay? At Changing Strings, all right? And then at 4 Black, so BL4, the number 4, CKUT. So 4 Black, that's a nonprofit organization where we're using our musical platform to move this needle of the whole Black Lives Matter and integration of Black people feeling respected here in Utah. And so we're doing that with our musical platform. So folks like yourself, being a part of that would be amazing. So it's not just Black people who are doing it. For all you guys who are out there who want to be a part of this movement. And it's not Black Lives Matter, although I have friends and all that, and I love what they're doing and stand for. But it's not that, right? It's a completely different mindset and movement in that way. And so we're partnering with a bunch of different organizations, Vita Tequila, Melange, and a few others that are helping Visit Salt Lake, all these different organizations that are helping push this agenda ahead. And so for Black, and then Unplugged, Salt Lake City, right? At UNPLUGD SLC, all right? Unplugged Salt Lake City. And then the last one is at the Soul Flow with the FLO and not the W. Okay. So, awesome. And that's all that's just about, and then we got to talk about Lake House, right?
Yeah, let's talk about Lake House.
Lake House SLC. Lake House, just how it sounds, SLC. Lake House SMA, and that's Soul Music Academy. All right. And then I believe that is all of the plugs that we have.
There you go.
God, there's so many accounts.
Well,
I need a social media manager.
Yes, you do. You need a social media manager. Something to think about, people. But with all of that, brother, I always appreciate spending time with you. I am inspired every single time that I sit down and I talk with you. I'm inspired every single time that you post. And I know that a lot of my colleagues and a lot of my community feel the same way. And so I appreciate you coming out here. So CJ Arnell, everybody.
Blessings. Blessings only. Yep.
Yes,
sir.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, thank you, man. How'd you feel about it?